everyone, and welcome back to DearDharmaDude. My name is Vivian Cao, and with the Venerable Master Heng Cheng, and my special guest is Sophie. And as a recap in our little series on the Bodhisattva path and the ideals of becoming a Bodhisattva or of being one, we've established that a Bodhisattva is a person who is constantly committed to service and giving themselves to others with no expectations. But we've also realized that with that service comes a lot of maturity in understanding the degree of engagement one needs as far as how much we should, not impose, but to engage our service onto others, and when we should draw back, and when to actually approach that person, so on and so forth. I don't know, what do you think about that?
What's your personal experience on that?
Actually, I have a problem with this because I don't know how to deal the feeling. If I want to help others to feel compassion, and sometimes I meet someone, friend of mine, who is sick or have bad feelings, and sometimes I'm crying with her, but I want to empathy. Yeah, but I think it would be better if I could stay relaxed and patient, and that way I would like to help. So I don't know which way do you suggest me to develop myself.
It's very interesting because if you stop with the definition of Bodhisattva as a Bodhisattva, then sometimes we couldn't figure out what is the right position to be. So a Bodhisattva could be called a healer, an educator, a helper. And so you start to develop many forms of relationship, a helper and happy, educator and student or learners, and you have a healer and they're the sick one. But healer doesn't mean like the new age healers, meaning you have a lot of sort of power and all that. But the degree of maturity is very important, because when you want to help someone, you don't want to be too emotional and then you forget that you had a job to help them. They are in need of help, and how do we become best to help them? And so it's really a mature question, and that mature question requires us to do a few things. Number one is we need to develop what we call a vow. Vow is the commitment to help. Okay, because sometimes we see someone like in a terrible conditions. I mean, I need to help right away, but maybe it's not the right timing. It's the wrong way to help because we're too emotional. We can't see the picture clearly. So we want to be a little bit distant and be able to see the view well-rounded, and then decide. And so we need to have a commitment. Commitment meaning understanding, very good understanding of where we are. Is this the time we engage or not engage? Is this the time I disengage or engage? Is this the time that I will create a condition, or the time I'm really get involved? And so it's a degree of commitment. The first thing we need to commit ourselves for this first. Sometimes we cry over, and sometimes we feel empathized, and we feel, I still touched my heart. But what next? After we cry, we don't know what to do next. So the maturity is okay. The maturity is first you want to cry. That's okay. Then you have to think, cool down and think. Then make plan. Then looking for the timing. Then engage, and then fulfill what the person's need. So it takes time to do all that process, right? So you need a commitment. First you need a commitment. Then you need to have strength. Because without strength, meaning physical strength, emotional strength, and sometimes it's really intellectual strength, meaning very highly emotional intelligent, but also spiritual intelligence and social intelligence. There's a certain kind of intelligence that we need to have, and so we need to have the strength. This strength can help us to say, oh well, in order to help this person, I have to do this for myself first. Meaning, for example, if the person is very, very poor, and you want to help that poor person, and poor person that, well, I don't need money, I just need you to give me some love. Now you have to have the intelligence to say, yeah, I'll be able to give you care. I'll be a care for you, for example. But sometimes, oh, you poor, here's money you give. You give the wrong thing, but you cannot help to give them what they need. And so you have to have the strength. And the third thing you need to have is experiences. Experiences meaning, for example, some people say, oh, I want you to drive me from here to the temple. But if you don't have a car, you don't have, or you have a car but you don't have a license, or if you have a car, a license, but you don't have time. So you need to have experience. You have to have somehow a good management of your own life first. You have to manage your life well first in order to start to help others. And so the experience starts with us first. We have to well manage ourselves, and then we learn how to manage the means and how to utilize this means to help others. And so there's many aspects to it. And so the Bodhisattva is a person who not only the educator, the helper, or maybe a healer, or perhaps is just simply purely a great heart person. But the difference between all the definitions is, among all the definitions, the difference is, a Bodhisattva always a person who is very mature, looking at the issue in many angles, from many point of views, and take the very best point of view at the very best timing, and do it with grace, with integrity. And he doesn't need to have a personality and say, oh, I want to prove to you that I love you, I want to prove to you that I'm Bodhisattva. No, he doesn't need to prove anything. He just simply see things in different angle, and he will say, okay, this is the best choice for that person now, and this is, to do that, maybe I should take this best approach. You see? And so it's a maturity question. It's rather than anything else you think about. It's just a mature question. Can you take commitment, okay, to do this? Can you see and develop your own strength? Can you find experience means, skill and means, or can you develop your own skills to do this? And finally, when you do that, do you have enough knowledge from the very beginning to the very end? Because at each level, each individual will have a different understanding, different level of unfolding, different level of knowledge and vision. So at different time frame, we need to have different way to deal with it. For example, young people, 3, 4, 5 years old kid require different things to deal with. But that person, a 3 years old kid, when now become 15 years old, we need to have different will. Yeah.
So essentially, again, it's the vow, the commitment, understanding what the problem is, and then finding that strength to be able to understand the scope of the problem, what it is that needs to be done. And lastly, it's the skill and the means of when to approach, how to approach, the level and intensity of engagement, so on and so forth. So thank you, Master, and thank you, Sophie, and thank you, viewers. See you next time. Bye.